Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Sword of the Stars. So, last episode we ended by discovering two more random encounters. So we already saw the alien derelict. Actually, we didn't see it, we destroyed it. Those are kind of passive and friendly. This time we got something meaner. So let's talk about the first one actually. Let's talk about the Asteroid Monitor. These are actually kind of nice. At first they're mean, but you read here what happened. Asteroid Monitor. Special project proposed. You can research, and this here is not visible by default. Just click here to show it. You can start a special project which will devote kind of part of your resources. See, this white sliver is what we're devoting to this research project, and gradually over time we'll gain control of this. And the Asteroid Monitor is like a Dreadnought class kind of battle station. That's no moon, that's a space station. So great for early defense, although it's not like anybody's going to attack this system in particular, right? It's not sort of facing the outside, but anyways, it's nice to have when it's yours. So eventually this will become ours, and then we can send a new gate ship there and take control of it. So that's actually not a big deal. This guy, though, is a problem. So alien swarms will kind of multiply, and eventually, very soon, this guy's going to send out a copy of himself to a neighboring system, and then that'll kind of repeat and go on. And they are a bit tricky to defeat. They're basically a bunch of drones, which means we are going to need some weapons technology to actually defeat this. Now, as the hivers, it's a real pain to go out and actually hunt him at his source, right? Because I'm going to have to build like a fleet, and it's going to take like 18 turns for it to get there. And that's just a pain, because for those 18 turns, my fleet is just unavailable to me and doing nothing else. But what the hivers can do is just build the fleet defensively and wait for the alien menace to come to us. That's what it's called, by the way, alien menace. And then just warp in at the last minute and save your system. What's nice is that the aliens move basically at the same speed as hivers do, right? Really slowly. So you got plenty of time to prepare. So that's what our plan's going to be. We're going to next we're gonna start researching the right weapons technology we need, and then we're going to build a small fleet so that if this guy decides to attack, say, our new colony, we can just defend it in time. Let's talk about actually the weapons technology we're going to need. So the thing about drones, actually let's go to our let's go to our design here. So right, this is the best ship that I could make now, best fighting ship that I could make. The problem, well, this doesn't really matter, but so the problem with this is that I can only put either Gauss cannons or red lasers, and here I could put missiles, or you can put light weapons in medium mounts. They just kind of get doubled up, but it's not great. The problem is that all these weapons are pretty bad. They're bad for drones because drones move quickly, and especially the Gauss cannons are going to miss them for sure, and the red lasers are going to miss them a lot of the time. Now, the hiver ships are pretty sturdy, so I'm not saying it's impossible to beat an alien menace with a bunch of red laser armor ships. Just not very efficient. So I've got a few options. Like I said, there's actually a technology here called a light emitter, and if on your run through you happen to get it, then that is actually a good weapon to research. The light emitter kind of is like think like a chain lightning kind of attack, so it's actually very good against drones. So that's a good option. The other option is I can get point defense technology, which I'm going to need eventually. To get point defense, I have to get first VRF technology, which is just a generic buff to projectile weapons, and then hopefully this unlocks point defense here. Although point defense is not guaranteed, and it's a real pain if you don't get it. It'll make your life really hard, but it happens sometimes. So that's one option. This is great if you're planning to go projectile weapons. The other option, honestly, is to just get green lasers. You know, they're not much more accurate than red lasers, but they do enough damage, and in my experience, if you get a big army of Hiver ships with green lasers, you should be okay. Speaking of big army, right now I can't really field a large fleet because I haven't researched any CCC tech, so I'm definitely going to need to research battle computers. But I'll do that after I get my weapon tech. So first, we don't need to worry about it yet. Let's finish our cybernetic interface, and then we'll worry about what we'll research next. Notice in my pie here I've got the light blue. That represents how much this colony is taking out of my budget. So 30,000 is this much. This guy here is 65,000, so I'd be spending like easily a third just on one colony. So, just not, you know, like I said, maybe worth it for this guy. You know, it's probably worth it once I get maybe one of these technologies, but not quite yet. So let's actually, I gotta send these gates somewhere. And okay. Alright, I'm almost done exploring my cluster here. I need, let's say I can send a guy here, and then I've got well, with my current technology, so I can build 2 more gates, and then the next guy I can build a 3rd gate, but I'll probably have to wait for this gate to deploy. So I can build 2 more gates, one this turn, one the next, and then I'll be done with gates for now. For some reason my shortcut wasn't registering for ending the turn. Anyways, oh, we got our technology early, looks like, which is nice. Doesn't happen often. Okay, let's just build the last gate. Okay, so actually this is going to help my decision. So none of these 3 we were guaranteed to get, but we got all 3 of them, which is really nice. So these 2 are excellent for economy, so we'll definitely be researching them soon. This guy is really interesting. Predictive gunnery adds a command section, which is one of those front ship sections, and what it does is it increases weapon accuracy. Why do I care about this? Because one nice strategy that you can use with Hivers is to go with mass driver technology, ballistic weapons, and you get weapons called Stormers, which are kind of like, think like a Tommy gun, right? Like in the 20s, like Chicago Mafia style, you know? They shoot a lot of bullets, not very accurate. But you combine those with the fire control section, and you have very accurate, very powerful weapons. So that's actually a great combination for a kind of mid-game cruiser. And honestly, the Hivers can stay on that really simple tech, and you can beat like really fancy, like Lear, fancy laser kind of ships with that. So I think that's what I'm going to go for. So given that, I'm going to want to improve my ballistic weapons research weapons anyways. So I am going to go ahead and go the point defense route to defend against the alien swarm, as opposed to, researching this laser, because I don't think for now I'm going to rely much on my lasers. So we'll research that. And good. Okay, we'll have one more gate to build. Alright, what kind of planet did we discover? Foo. Well, I think I am going to colonize this one. It's really small, but it has good resources, and it's not going to cost me much. So I'm going to increase the amount of money I get. I'm going to first build my last gate just to get that over with. Actually, right on this turn, I'm going to build the colonizer now, even though I'm deficit spending, just to get the colony started, to do the colony trap check, and then I'll build the other colony ships later on. Okay, send the gate there, send the colonizer, and now I'll just accumulate the other colony ships. You don't want to send in your colony ships so that you don't want them to end up in the system on the turn your colony gets colonized. That's when the colony trap can go off. Okay, so here, see that alien swarm? It already was sent out to this system here. So that means my gate's going to get there, I'm going to deploy, and then this guy's going to kill it, because I won't have time to build my fleet up in that few turns. But that's okay. It didn't go towards my colony. Okay, no colony trap, and we discovered, this is a nice one too. Very cheap, very large, and not bad resources. So excellent news. So let's send one. Actually, I can't. The gate isn't deployed yet, so we'll send all these guys to Foo, and we'll just colonize the big one next turn. Oh, notice here, well, I kind of flashed quickly. So there's a yeah, you see here the research at 105%. So sometimes, you don't always get your research on time. So that time what happened is I actually overran my research budget. You get some compensation in that once you finally do get the research, you also get a lot of money back, because sort of the excess is refunded as money. So it's not a complete disaster, but usually you prefer having the research quicker. Okay, so I'm going to deploy this anyways, because why not? But we're going to lose it soon. And this isn't worth colonizing anyways. Okay, let's colonize Foo more. And let's send our one guy. So this is Sphinx is our nice colony. We'll send these guys to Foo. And let's get our next. Let's get our point defense tracking. 12. God, hivers are slow techers. Okay. So I would normally like to send, many more colony ships here, but the Sphinx colonies has more potential because it's a better system, so I'm going to prioritize sending colony ships there. Alright. Elmatar we ran into. You know what? This is probably... Well, I'm not going to show you this one. I'm going to show you this one. Just so you get a... Let's get our first... show you our first taste of tactical combat. We're going to get completely slaughtered here. But just so you see what we're up against. Really taking a long time to load. Kind of worrisome. It's clearly because I'm recording this, because normally this would be almost instantaneous. Okay, so here's my gate. It's deployed, so it's static, so it can't even move. It's got Gauss cannons. Here you can see kind of the arcs that it can cover, and there is our Silicoid Queen. So you see all these drones that it's sending, and here we go. So they shoot, looks like plasma or fusion cannons. Let's see how we're trying to shoot our Gauss cannons at them, but we're missing a lot because they're very small and maneuverable. Complete miss there. Let me talk about shortcuts. In here, obviously, space goes to the kind of radar map and back, but a really useful thing is control page up and control page down. And you see in the bottom right, it turns up the speed or down the speed. So if you just need to fast forward through parts of the battle that are going on automatically, just control page up all the way to 8x, and it'll just zip through. Because this is a pretty foregone conclusion. But see how tough the Hiver ship is. So it took the Silco Queen 40 seconds to just kill one destroyer. Okay, so we actually ran into another thingamajig at Ilmatar. Oh, a second Asteroid Monitor. So let's get that project underway. Okay. And what did we find here? Another decent planet to colonize. Okay. Not bad, not bad at all. Alright, let's keep, and we colonize Sphinx, so let's keep doing that. I'm going to send one of these next ones to colonize this new one, and we're going to keep populating Sphinx while we get our point defense tracking done. Okay. I think it was Cuthbert, yeah? Okay, and actually, let's do one last thing in this episode. Let's go back to our E screen, our Empire screen, which we haven't used much. So here are a couple of things it's useful for. So in the colonies and budget, you can sort your colonies you can sort any list in sorted stars by just double-clicking the thing you want to sort by. So what you'll often do is you'll use this to build ships when you have a large empire. And you do this by double-clicking industrial output, and it's going to rank all your colonies by the ones that have the highest industrial output. So none of them, I mean, only your homeworld is developed. Even our first colony here still hasn't brought its climate hazard down to 0. So we'd only be building ships out of here anyways. But I can directly go to the build screen here by hitting B. And sorry, if I go back to E after, right, so B, E, so you can queue up ships all throughout your empire quite quickly like this. So that's one use for this. In the colonizing phase, you'll want to use explored systems a lot to decide where to colonize next. So we could look, for example, which are the friendliest planets to colonize. So I double-click and then double-click again to reverse sort. And now I know, well, this is the friendliest one. Double-click on it, shows me where it is. Go back here. But of course, we decided this one was not worth it because it was so resource poor, right? But right now we're colonizing Cuthbert. And, well, we'll get around to colonizing these later. Alternatively, you could sort maybe by resources and realize, hey, this guy might be expensive, but you know, it's definitely worth our while. So that's used for colonizing. Later on, there's going to be another tab here for trade, which is going to be very useful. We're going to use that a lot. Okay, so for now, that's pretty much it. So let's just go one more turn to see what's at this in this star system, and then we will move on to the next episode. Okay, so let's go peace here, just until I see which one it is. Okay, so actually we discovered another nice colonization planet here. Very cheap, small, but good resources. So we'll colonize it. This guy... We'll colonize this guy. He's, well, we'll deploy, but I'm going to let him die. You know, actually, we'll talk about the independent colonies next turn. So where do I want to send this guy to colonize? Okay, let's send him here. And build our colonies for next turn. Okay, so let's stop here, and I'll see you guys in a short while.